For instance, if you live in a house 40 years from now, it may be worth 10 times more. This is the illusion that most people don't see. There's a couple of hidden costs that people either don't know about or they just ignore. So let's go over them. One of the most significant financial commitments that comes with home ownership is the mortgage. While mortgages allow you to spread the cost of buying a house over several years, they also come with interest payments that can add up to substantial amounts. Over the course of your mortgage, you could end up paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in interests alone. And I remember the time when we were about to sign the papers and I was just learning about mortgage interest. My first thought was, do people actually fall for this? I recognized that it was a scam immediately. Because it was so normal, I signed the papers anyway. I figured, if other people do this, then it must be alright, right? But it's not alright. There are more expenses, and the money that you spend here represents a massive opportunity cost. But we'll get back to that later on. Property taxes are another hidden cost that homeowners must face. These taxes are calculated based on the assessed value of your property and are due annually or semi-annually. Property taxes can vary significantly depending on where you live, and they can add up to a substantial sum, especially in areas with high property values. Now, property tax can look very different from country to country. Here in Sweden, for example, it's hidden and is automatically added in the yearly income declaration. You just sign it and you never even notice it. You can find it if you actually look for it, but most people don't. It's in our nature to fool ourselves. Another aspect often overlooked is the ongoing maintenance and repairs required to keep your home in a good condition, from fixing a leaky roof to replacing old appliances. These expenses can quickly pile up. Maintenance costs are an inevitable part of home ownership, and failing to budget for them can lead to financial strain. People who rent don't have these issues. It's all included in the rent. And yes, people who pay rent sometimes get furious when the rent is increased due to some, renovation costs. And yes, sometimes scams do occur. But consider this, no matter how much your rent increases, you don't have to fuss with hiring contractors, negotiate, and handle any issues. While some would argue that they would rather have more control over it, you have to consider the time spent on this. From my perspective, it's better to focus that energy and time on creating digital assets. Homeowners are also responsible for insurance coverage and utility bills. Home insurance protects your property against unforeseen events such as fires and natural disasters, but it comes with a price tag. Additionally, utility bills can be higher in larger homes compared to renting an apartment, leading to increased monthly expenses. If you rent, you don't have to worry about any of this. And I say it again, that time and energy is better spent if you focus on creating something that generates your own passive income streams. So inflation is the decreasing purchasing power of money. Most people know what it is, but don't actually consider what it actually means because it's kind of difficult to see. It essentially means that everything becomes more expensive. But at the same time, wages usually go up. And this is the beauty of this wage slave trap. We never really notice it. The inflation rate is different in all countries, but we usually hear something like that inflation rate is around 3 to 10%. In Sweden, most companies will have a yearly income salary increase to combat these inflation effects. But this is just a trick, you see. Things still get more expensive, and we think that things have gone up in value, but they haven't. The value of money instead is weaker. The inflation rate also affects properties. So consider this. Let's say your house goes up 10 times in 10 years. That sounds like a lot, right? But it's really not, because you have to consider the inflation effect. Let's say that you instead invest in a fund that goes up 5 to 10% every year on average, and with compound effect, it will increase even more. And this is a fortune that you will never see because your money is locked in on mortgage payments and interests. Basically, your house is an opportunity cost. So lastly, home ownership ties up a substantial portion of your wealth in a single asset. The money you invest in your house could be used elsewhere, potentially generating higher returns. And from my perspective, this is always the case. This concept is known as opportunity costs and is essential to consider the lost financial opportunities that comes with tying up your funds in real estate. And it even goes deeper than that. Let's say your house will someday be worth 10 times more, maybe in 20 or 40 years. You would basically have to wait 20 or 40 years for that payout someday. But if you invest in stocks or crypto instead, you can see returns every year. And with the compound interest, you would have become richer. But instead, your house keeps you stuck in a wage slave trap.